Hi everybody, we're busy reading from the Passion Translation. We are currently in chapter 26 of Proverbs, and the heading here is Don't Be a Fool. And if you can remember, you will know that Proverbs basically have two main characters in the story here that we are talking about. The one is the wise person and the other one is the foolish person. So today we will speak about a little bit more about the actual foolish person. So it starts with, don't be a fool. It is totally out of place to promote or honor a fool. So you do not want to promote a foolish person. It's just it says it's out of place, just like snow in the summer and rain at harvest time. An undeserved curse will be powerless to harm you. It may flutter over you like a bird, but it will find no place to land. So what does this mean here? An undeserved curse. So this could be negative words being spoken about you that you didn't deserve. Somebody that's speaking negatively behind your back, or speaking words of slander. It says it could be like a fluttering bird, just fluttering over you, but because it's undeserved, this will not land or take place in your life and on you. Guide a horse with a whip, direct the donkey with a bridle, and lead a rebellious fool with a beating on his backside. Don't respond to the words of a fool with more foolish words, or you will become as foolish as he is. Instead, if you are asked a silly question, answer it with words of wisdom, so that the fool doesn't think that he is so clever. If you choose a fool to represent you, you are asking for trouble. It will be as bad for you as cutting off your own feet. You can never trust the words of a fool, just like a crippled man can't trust his legs to support him. Give honor to a fool and watch it backfire, like a stone tied to a slingshot. The statement of a fool will only hurt other people. So what is another attribute of a fool here is they make hurtful statements that actually hurt people around them. Like a thorn bush brandished by a drunk, like a reckless archer shooting arrows at random, is an impatient employer who hires just any fool who comes along. So you don't want to just hire any fool that comes along, because you are actually causing more trouble for yourself. It says here, because somebody is going to get hurt. Fools are famous for repeating their errors, just like dogs who are known to return to their vomit. So what is another attribute of a fool? It's somebody that continues to return to their own errors. They keep on making the same mistake over and over. There is only one thing worse than a fool, and that is a smug, a conceited man, but which is always in love with his own opinions. So here we know again an attribute of a foolish person is somebody who just loves their own opinion. As we know already, we spoke about a wise person before, which says that a wise person actually is somebody with a teachable spirit. So this would be like the opposite of somebody with a teachable spirit. It's somebody who is always in love with their own opinions and think that they know better. Now we're going into laziness. So that is part of being foolish, is being lazy. Verse 13, the lazy loafer says, I can't go out and look for a job. There may be a lion out there roaming wild in the streets. As a door hinged to the wall, so the lazy man keeps on turning over and hinged to his bed. There are some people which are so lazy that they won't even work to feed themselves. So we've actually touched on this before in Proverbs as well, where it speaks about the lazy person who doesn't want to go out, and he uses excuses of different fears. Like here he's saying there might be a lion roaming outside. So they use fears as excuses of why they can't necessarily do a specific job or some work. Verse 16, A self-righteous person is convinced that he is smarter than 7 wise counselors who tell him the truth. So we've all seen that person as well. That could be in a room with 7 wise people, and the 7 wise people are trying to convince them of sin in their life, or that they are busy stepping into something which is not right, something wrong. And it says here that the self-righteous person will still believe that he knows better than the 7 wise people. It's better to grab a mad dog by its ears than to meddle and interfere in a quarrel which is none of your business. Watch your words. So this is very important as well. Verse 18. The one who is caught lying to his friend and says, "I didn't mean it, I was only joking," can be compared to a madman randomly shooting off deadly weapons. It takes fuel to have a fire. A fire dies down when you run out of fuel. So quarrels disappear when the gossip ends. So how can we, it says, I've heard a saying as well before, that gossip ends when it hits a wise person's ears, because the wise person would actually not continue with the story. It would stop right there. They will not put more fuel on the fire. So a quarrel can even end and a fight can end when the gossip ends as well. Verse 21, add fuel to the fire and the blaze will go on. So by adding more fuel and more negative words to this already fire or quarrel that's going on, will just make this fire continue to move and continue to burn and hurt people. So add an argumentative man then into the mix. Okay, now we're also adding an argumentative man into the mix, and you will keep this strife alive. Verse 22, gossip is delicious, and how we love to swallow it, for slander is easily absorbed into our innermost being. So slander and gossip goes into our innermost being. So it's not a good thing. Smooth talk can hide a corrupt heart, just like a pretty glaze covers a cheap clay pot. But kind words can cover to conceal the hatred of others. So how can we conceal hatred? Through speaking kind words. Hypocrisy loves to hide behind flattery. So if there's a lot of flattery coming at you from a specific person, be aware of that, because that could be somebody who's actually a hypocrite. So they flatter a lot because in their hearts there might be something that are actually against you. So watch out for flattery. Or it's the same as somebody that flatters a lot. It's also somebody that could gossip easily. So just be careful of that. Be careful of the words that come out of another person's mouth, because that actually shows their heart and what is going on inside of their hearts. Don't be drawn in by a hypocrite, for his gracious speech is a charade, nothing but a masquerade covering his hatred and evil on parade. Don't worry, he can't keep the mask on for that long. One day his hypocrisy will be exposed before all of the world. So everything comes in the light. The Bible also says there's nothing hidden, there's nothing that you can keep concealed and in the dark, because everything will eventually come into the light. Go ahead, set a trap for others, and then watch as it snaps back onto you. Start the landslide and you will be the one who gets crushed. Hatred is the root of all slander, and insecurity is the root of flattery. So here it actually gives you the root of slander and gossip. It's actually hatred. So if you have a lot of slander and gossip in your life, the root that needs to be pulled out and the thing that you need to repent of is actually hatred. And then also it speaks here of flattery. We've just touched on flattery. It could also be coming from somebody who's very insecure in themselves. And so we want to deal with the insecurity and make sure that this person can find his true identity and who he really is in God as well. Okay, so that was Proverbs 26.